Hi friends, pull up a yoga mat, let's do yoga. You might like to have a couple of blocks, a blanket, a wall, a chair, what have you nearby. Let's start in our standing position. Some may refer to it as samastitihi. Perhaps you'll pick up the toes and spread them wide, and then maybe you'll press through even your tippy toes and give yourself permission if you'd like to rock a little forward and back and discover your roots. Maybe you'll lean inside the foot, outside the foot, and explore all of those places. I'm going to move back so you can see me a little more. And then we'll reach the arms out and up, the fingers interlace and the palms press up. And we'll bring the hands behind us, perhaps holding on to whichever you come up with, your wrists, your low arms, your forearms, or your elbows. Maybe a bit of an opening here. And turning to one side, finding your breathing. Sometimes we gaze to the side. Sometimes we gaze out over that back shoulder, coming center, and taking it to the other side. You might notice that there may be some toes that want to move with you, and pressing them back down, rooting yourself as you like. Coming center and releasing. Reaching out and up or forward and up is an option as well. Maybe tilting your chin. Your palms move to still face the ceiling, maybe behind your head. They might be above your head. Your gaze is forward and down, and you're finding your breathing. Raising your arms, releasing your chin and your hands back to your side, reaching forward and out or out and up as you wish, perhaps a halfway forward fold, pressing now through your palms as if you were taking on the shape of numeral 7. Arms reach out to the side and back overhead. A couple more times. Fingers interlace, palms press away, releasing. And we'll take it through sun salutation. Well, who knows, maybe there'll be a bit of a moon salutation in there since we're at that midway point, almost to the half moon that will now lead us to the new moon. The extended mountain, if you wish, the heels rise up. My arms are long, my palms are facing the ceiling, and my fingers are interlaced. Half squat or chair pose, or Ardha Utkatasana, is the next spot. Maybe you'll give it a big old reach. Maybe you'll press down and lift up a bit. You could even find your power arms. And once again, maybe you'll find something to hold on to behind you, your wrists, your forearms, your elbows, finding your breathing. Fingertips make their way to the toe tips, and we'll step one foot back to find a bit of lunge. If you have a blanket nearby, you may want to slide that under your knees. You're also welcome to roll over part of your mat. If your knee would like more cushion, your back toes can tuck under, or the top of your foot could press down. You can come up one hand at a time or two. Maybe you'll stay forward. Perhaps it feels more so in your hips. Maybe you prefer to stay centered. Allow yourself to have options. Allow yourself to invite the breathing. Allow yourself to find what works. And as your hands come down the midline, maybe you'll bring your elbow to your opposite knee or your your elbow can move outside your knee. Your palms may stay together here. Your back knee may stay down, or you might lift the back knee up and find your balance, perhaps by gazing to a place on the floor that doesn't move. Your bottom hand could come down. Your top hand could reach up. Your top hand could reach behind you. Back knee settles. We'll come center and take it back to your child's pose, your puppy dog, your down dog as you wish. So we know child's pose, we can bring the knees wide. We can also prop a blanket under us or between upper and low legs. Arms might slide in front of you or come to rest underneath you. Of course, your arms can come alongside you and even hands can hold the heels. So these are all good options. And if coming down to child's pose doesn't work for you, give yourself permission, please, to move to puppy dog, where your seat would be up rather than down. Still options, forearms, forehead down. Or gently lifting the forehead, gently lifting the elbows. Making your way to table, the down dog, if you're practicing, sometimes we like to say we walk out the dog with a little movement, one heel, the other, one knee, the other. Sometimes we take a turbo dog where we give the spine a little chance to lengthen a bit more. The heels can stay lifted, the knees can stay bent. Sometimes we bend the elbows and even bring them in a teeny bit toward each other. Lots of steps forward, 2 steps forward, or a hop to the top of the mat, where some of us practice the half fold and some of us practice the full. Coming up in steps, finding reverse swan dive as it suits you. Hands make their way back down the midline. So finding your breathing, and we'll journey through the salutation once again. Tadasana, mountain pose, perhaps extended. Ardha Utkatasana, the half squat. Or if you want to see about bringing it full, sometimes if we make more space with the feet and the knees and the hips, we find the full, or sometimes we prefer to bring all of that more centered. You can reach forward, you might reach up. Fingertips to the toe tips, the other foot steps back. Let's find a bit of the lunge. Some would call this half moon, others would call it Anjane Asana, different sequencing. Again, maybe your hips are asking you to come a bit forward. Maybe your upper body is asking you to stay centered. Choosing wisely. Your hands could come down the midline. Your opposite elbow could move to knee or outside of knee, inviting a twist if you like. Your back knee may lift. You could push through the heel. Maybe your bottom arm will come down. Maybe your top hand will reach up. And that top hand also has the option to find your low back. Releasing, coming center, back you go, puppy dog, child's pose, down dog, as you wish. Transitioning, if you're in child's, to your puppy dog or your down dog or a bit of both very fine options. Perhaps finding a bit of turbo dog and the other foot steps forward compared to the foot that stepped back for a bit of your lunge. Finding your way forward to a half Ardha Uttanasana followed by full Uttanasana as you wish. Maybe holding the elbows here as you'd like, letting gravity be a bit more of a friend. You can even gently shake out the yeses and gently shake out the nos. Coming up in steps, finding reverse swan dive as you wish. Perhaps bringing hands to your hips as you step one foot back, finding a little less space between the feet than you would in your typical warrior one, allowing your front knee to move with you, bend with you a bit, and imagining holding on to a very large wheel and turning that wheel with you. A bit of QiGong in the middle of our yoga practice is super nice. And maybe now your arms will lengthen and you're moving your upper body a bit forward and back, a bit to the side and back, a bit to the inside and back, and finding your balance, finding your breathing, inviting a different kind of movement rather than forcing, playing a bit with the softness, the gentleness, the roundness. And as you come center, maybe you'll bring this back foot forward and take a tree pose. You're welcome to find the wall or something that won't move to help you find balance. Remember your options. You could have a foot low, you could have a foot a bit higher. You might prefer to move even higher, or sometimes we find the half lotus in the tree if the knee and the hip and the ankle agree, and if not, we take a different choice. And maybe we allow that muscle that runs the side length of the upper leg, the IT band, a chance to release a bit. Finding a soft gaze over tip of nose towards something that doesn't move to help you find your balance. You're welcome to find your branches however it suits you. And we each find balance in a different way. Finding your homeostasis. And from your tree pose, your vrikshasana, maybe you'll walk it out, Wiggle it out, shake it out. Maybe you'll round it out a bit. And if you like, we'll see about dancing Shiva on that same side we were just working with. Again, you can hold on to the wall or a piece of heavy furniture that won't move on you. You're welcome to hold your pant leg, an ankle, a foot. Sometimes we hold outside the foot, sometimes we hold inside. Sometimes it feels really good to stay very long and tall. Sometimes it feels good to bow forward a bit. Maybe take a mudra, patience, courage, determination. Remembering the dance of life requests that we begin again. If you'd like, the foot you were just holding could find the knee in front. And maybe you'll take a 1.5-legged half squat, Ekapada Ardha Utkatasana. You can hold the hips, you can hold the ankle and the knee. You can bring your hands to your heart center. You can hold on to the wall or the chair. Coming out as you came in, walking it out, rounding it out as it suits you. And let's set up for the little bit less than warrior one stance on the other side, where your now front knee begins to bend and move with you a bit. And maybe once again, you'll find that giant wheel, as if you're turning that wheel. Maybe it's a prayer wheel and you're sending your prayers out to all in need. To our waters, to our earth, soil, to our air, to all the creatures and the people. Our good tidings. And if you like, you can lengthen your arms again. Finding your breathing, you might invite Ujjayi breath, a slow, steady breath, sometimes referred to as ocean breath, sometimes referred to as breath of victory. Sometimes the translation is said to be the sound of the serpent. Maybe we're shedding our wintertime skin and welcoming our springtime skin. A little more color, perhaps. Remembering you can turn the upper body a bit here. And finally coming center, finding your hips and finding your way to a tree pose on the other side. Finding balance, finding breathing, finding soft gaze, finding what works for you in this moment. Maybe a new choice to inspire a new release. You're welcome to walk it out, to round it out, to move directly into your Nataraj Asana. Remember, you have a variety of options for holding that back foot. If you have a belt around or a long scarf or an old tie and you want to hook the ankle or the foot with said item that may help you. Finding your breathing. Maybe the dancing Shiva wants to dance a little forward. Coming center and letting that back foot land now on your knee. I'm just turning so I can see you. You do not need to turn in these positions, although they are a fun challenge to the balance at times. Finding where your hands want to be. And when you feel complete, walking it out, rounding it out. And maybe taking your feet as wide as the mat or wider, noticing where your toes want to be as you bend your knees and find your goddess pose, your God pose, your deity pose, staying still or rocking a bit side to side as you wish. Maybe the mudra, middle finger to thumb, patience, courage, determination. If we bring the thumb over more of the middle finger, this is said to be a good mudra for helping folks when they're experiencing vertigo and for helping our thyroid gland become healthier. Coming center, 5-pointed star, perhaps reaching the arms up for sound D. Hands come center for sound Ri, and then hands come down for sound Ha. D-H-I-R-I-H-A, empowering, energizing sounds. I like to breathe in on my way up. Di, Ri, Ha. Di, Ri, Ha. Di, Ri, Ha. Maybe you'd like to bring your feet back to center space, and perhaps we'll pull prana. You could reach out in front of you. Prana, P-R-A-N-A, the life force energy we refer to in yoga, universal life force energy in Reiki, and something similar in the Qi, or the Shi in QiGong, and in Chinese medicine practices as well. So you can breathe in and then pull that energy into any part of you that may be feeling like it needs some more. Maybe you want to reach up and bring it to your heart center. Out and bring it to your solar plexus. Up and bring it to your personal power center, your navel center. Maybe you want to add on to the pulling prana with a warrior one. Maybe you want to add a knee to that pulling prana. Maybe you'll take hold of that knee that's come forward. You could hold under, you could hold in front of. Releasing, stepping the other foot back if you'd like to take your warrior one, pulling prana. Maybe the knee begins to move with you. Inhaling, lengthening, exhaling, pulling in. Ha, 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 ha. Maybe you'll hold the knee underneath, in front of, breathing. Settling down, finding your way to your goddess squat, however it works for you. Maybe you'll move a little side to side upon arrival. Maybe you'll find your blocks and have your blocks under your hands. Maybe you'll lengthen one leg and practice a reach forward, maybe a heel down, maybe a hand up, maybe the other hand up, maybe two, and then pulling that knee in. Let's see what happens on the other side. Sometimes we prefer to stay more in a place where our feet are down, and sometimes we come into that lower lunge. Breathing. Reaching if you like. And maybe finding your way to the mat, where we'll invite the soles of feet together in a cobbler's pose. You're welcome to hold the low legs, the ankles, the toes. You're welcome to open your foot book and see which page you're going to turn today. Maybe your thumbs will give your feet a nice massage. Maybe your thumbs will even press around the edge of your heel. Maybe your thumbs will trace around the edge of the ball of foot. Maybe you'll bring one leg long and hold the knee and the heel of the other leg and rock that hip. Sometimes we like to hold this leg a little closer as we rock. Maybe you will hold on to your big toe with your so-called peace fingers, or maybe you'll hold the inner edge of your foot while you press your other hand down somewhere to hold you steady, and the exhale could cross your midline. If you'd like, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Bringing this foot back, perhaps you'll hook the foot on your upper arm. Maybe you'll lift the foot a bit. Maybe this hand will come up and give the low leg a little nudge closer to your ear, toward your head, making a foot phone call if you'd like. You have some options here. Sometimes we need to find just the right spot to do a little lifting and lowering. You could have blocks nearby, or you can use the mat. Sometimes the blocks are fun to use. And you'll see if it's your seat that's lifting, or your seat and your feet, or maybe your feet will hook and you'll start to press your body into the sage with the 8 bends in their body. And just recently, that story was shared with me, and the sage was presented as a child. And isn't that a beautiful thing? Maybe you'll find some length after those 8 bends in your body. And we'll see what happens on the other side. Remember, we're playing, and when we play, we're allowed to make up the rules that work for us in this play shop. And while we're at it, if we're not able to help others, at least we won't hurt them. In our play, we're taking care of ourselves. And when we learn to take care of ourselves, perhaps we are much better able prepared to help others and at least not hurt them. Hugging in if it suits you, rocking the hip again. Holding your big toe if you like, or holding the inner edge of your foot. Your other hand can press down somewhere to hold you steady. Crossing the midline, you know, is good for the brain. It makes new connections in the brain. Bringing this knee back, hooking the underneath of the knee on your upper arm if possible, and if not possible, playing and noticing what is possible. You may want to press into the mat. You might prefer to press into the blocks. You can lift your seat. You can lift your feet. You can cross your ankles and push your foot away and find that sage with 8 bends in their body, which is where we get the idea of Ashta, the 8 in Sanskrit, reminding us of the 8 limbs of yoga. Thank you for playing with me. Let's find a bit of Janu Shirshasana and release a bit more. The inner edge of the leg can be the place where you press your foot. Sometimes the toes are more above the knee or closer to the knee. Sometimes the heel comes closer to the seat. Lengthening, releasing, breathing. Lifting your head and heart. Maybe your matching hand will come inside the foot. Maybe your other hand will reach up and over. Fingers interlace, palms press away. We'll come back to center and see about the Janu Shirshasana on the other side, knowing full well sometimes one side has different needs than the other, and allowing ourselves to honor those needs. Lifting your head and heart a bit. Maybe the matching hand takes hold of the inner edge of the leg or the foot, and the other hand can reach up and over. Fingers interlace, we lift and lengthen, and let's take it on down to the mat where you know you're welcome to move into a supported rest the way it suits you, maybe keeping your props nearby, being sure you have safe space behind you to rest. I'm going to start with a bit of a spinal twist here, so both knees can bend, which actually helps me to release my whole back to the mat, and then those knees can come to the side. And sometimes we like a layer of blanket. The block may feel hard, but you can see a block between the low legs may help us release a bit. And if the block doesn't feel just right, maybe you'll add a blanket to lift both your knees apart and your ankles apart. Your arms could be out like the top of letter T, could come alongside you, or sometimes we just hold the body somewhere where it feels comfortable. And when you feel complete, we'll bring that to the center and switch sides as you're ready. Moving anything out of your way that might be in your way. Coming center as you feel complete. Perhaps there's some part of your body that would like a little prop while you take a resting tree. I'm going to support my neck a bit here. One leg could come long and one knee could bend. All of those same options with your arms again. And then the same thing, other side, if you wish to switch sides. And sometimes we like a prop under the knee, and sometimes the knee just wants to be left alone on its own. Perhaps after your resting tree, you'd like to move into what some call reclined cobbler's pose, or I first learned it as a resting goddess. Perhaps you want to add some more layers to support you or to cover you. Sometimes even just a bit of weight can feel good. All of those same options with your arms, even your resting goddess arms, which doesn't always feel so peaceful to the shoulders. So check in and be sure you're choosing wisely. If you'd like to take a longer constructive rest period or shavasana, please feel free to turn the video off and give yourself more resting time, releasing time. when you feel complete in your rest, and only when you feel complete, and always when you feel complete. Perhaps you'll start to move a bit. Perhaps you'll start to reach a bit. Maybe you'd like to move into a side-lying Shavasana for a little while. When it feels right for you, returning to a seated position, cropping, layering as you wish. We'll close with a bit of balancing breath work. So the moon breathing is done through the left nostril, and sometimes after rest our brain doesn't know where we are, and that's a good thing. So you can take your left hand and make the shape of letter L, and you'll know that's your left side, and that's the side we're going. The invitation is to breathe through. I'm going to take my trusty mudra that I first learned, which was to bring index and middle finger down, ring and pinky out, and thumb out of the other hand to close that side as I breathe through the moon side, the left side. Moon breathing, or Chandra Badana, the moon channel, is said to be calming and cooling. You're welcome to stay on the moon side, or maybe you'll take the traditional ring and pinky and close the moon side and breathe through the sun side, the right side. The sun side is said to be warming and energizing. Releasing when you feel complete, perhaps inviting the temple or steeple mudra, where the index fingers point, the others interlace, and the thumbs stack, and that can be done however you wish, whichever pinky finger on bottom and whichever thumb on top. Perhaps breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. One more. And we'll close with the sounds prani, P-R-A-N-I, dana, D-H-A-N-A. The translation I've been given is, my individuality expands to universality. Grace dissolves the resistance and obstacles in my life. I practice gratitude so I can remove the blocks to joy. This practice expands my perspective because I realize I am not an island. I'm reminded to step back, to gently think again, and to take a fresh look at the situation I'm struggling with. Pranidhana, as you wish, after inhale. Pranidhana, Pranidhana, Pranidhana. Pranidhana, friends. Pranidhana, Pranidhana. We're here Monday through Saturday in the studio, morning, noon, and night. If you're wanting your own private, you're welcome to reach out and schedule with me. We also offer Reiki and singing bowls. All levels yoga, all ages, all stages, all abilities. If you'd like your very own video with your needs in mind, be in touch and we'll work something out. Take good care. Peaceful holidays, peaceful holy days to all who celebrate.